Imagine a life in the spotlight where millions cheer for your every move. Yet behind the bright lights and glamorous appearances, secrets quietly linger. The Braxton sisters have been adored for decades, their music and family bond inspiring fans around the world. But what if the story we know isn't the whole truth? Recently, shocking claims have started to surface, coming from voices we never expected. The sisters' ex-husbands. Stories of lies, hidden trauma and betrayal are now coming to light, challenging everything fans thought they knew. Today we dive deep into these revelations, exploring a side of the Braxton sisters that has been hidden from public view and asking the question, are the sisters really as perfect as they appear, or is there more beneath the surface? The Braxton sisters have been household names for years, known not only for their powerful voices, but also for their undeniable presence in the entertainment world. Their journey began as young girls growing up in a close-knit family, dreaming of stages far bigger than their hometown. Over time, each sister carved her own path, some finding solo fame, others becoming icons in the music industry as a group. Fans have always admired their unity and the way they support one another publicly, sharing laughter, tears, and milestones that feel relatable to millions. But behind the cameras, things weren't always as simple. Rumours and whispers have followed them for years, hinting at family tensions, secret struggles and challenges in their personal lives. These are the same stories that their ex-husbands now claim to shed light on, revealing a version of events that fans never saw. The contrast between the sparkling public image and what reportedly happened behind closed doors is startling. And it makes one wonder, how much of what we see is the real truth and how much is carefully curated for the fans? While fans celebrated their music and appeared to admire the sisters' closeness, a different story has begun to emerge from those who knew them in private, their ex-husbands. According to these voices, the life behind the spotlight was far more complicated than anyone realised. They speak of moments when trust was broken, promises were left unfulfilled, and personal relationships were strained by hidden tensions. Some ex-husbands describe feeling manipulated or unheard, as if they were part of a carefully maintained public image that hid the reality. There are claims of emotional struggles, moments of betrayal, and situations that left long-lasting scars on those involved. These revelations, though disputed by some, paint a picture of a family navigating fame, personal ambition, and unresolved conflicts, a side that fans rarely see. The question now arises, were these sisters truly victims of circumstance, or were there deeper choices and decisions behind the headlines that shaped the reality their ex-husbands now describe? The first set of allegations comes from one of the sisters' earliest relationships, a story that paints a picture of lies and broken trust. According to her ex-husband, there were moments when promises of honesty and openness in the relationship were repeatedly broken. He recalls private conversations where he felt misled, small details that were hidden, and decisions that seemed carefully calculated to protect a public image rather than nurture personal bonds. These moments, he claims, left him feeling isolated and unsure of the real person behind the celebrity facade. The second allegation touches on family trauma, something that resonates deeply with those who have been close to the sisters. One ex-husband describes a household filled with tension beneath the laughter and cameras. Arguments that seemed trivial in public were, he says, symptoms of deeper issues, unspoken resentments, emotional manipulation, and unaddressed pain that echoed through the family. He claims that he often found himself caught in the middle, trying to support both the sisters and their extended family, only to realise that some wounds ran too deep to be healed publicly. Finally, the third account revolves around betrayal and conflict within personal ambitions. One ex-husband recalls moments where private plans, career decisions, and personal desires clashed with the sisters' public persona. According to him, the pressure of fame sometimes led to choices that prioritised appearances over relationships, leaving those closest to the sisters feeling overlooked or even deceived. These instances, he says, created rifts that lasted long after the relationships ended, revealing a complexity to the sisters' lives that the audience rarely glimpsed. Together, these personal accounts form a mosaic of stories that hint at tension, emotion, and the human struggles behind the spotlight, showing that even those who seem untouchable are not immune to pain and controversy. The first allegation revolves around deception and broken trust within an intimate relationship. One of the sisters' ex-husbands recalls how, in the beginning, everything seemed perfect, charming moments, shared dreams, and plans for a future together. But slowly he began noticing inconsistencies, forgotten promises, withheld truths, and subtle manipulations that made him question his own memory and perception. He describes feeling trapped in a cycle of confusion, where loving gestures in public were often followed by private silence or unspoken tension. According to him, these patterns were not just personal, they reflected the immense pressure to maintain an untarnished public image. What he presents is a story of emotional exhaustion, where love and admiration were overshadowed by doubt and trust became something fragile and easily broken. The second allegation deals with family trauma that unfolded behind closed doors. Another ex-husband paints a picture of a household that appeared joyful to outsiders but was fraught with unspoken pain. He describes heated arguments that erupted over seemingly small issues but had deeper roots in unresolved conflicts from the sisters' past. There were times when he witnessed siblings taking sides, protecting one another while leaving others emotionally exposed. He recounts moments where he tried to mediate only to feel powerless as the weight of fame and personal expectations magnified every disagreement. This, he claims, left lasting emotional scars not only for him but also for the sisters, who were forced to navigate both their private turmoil and the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. It's a story of love and loyalty intertwined with frustration and heartbreak, highlighting the human vulnerabilities often hidden beneath celebrity glamour. The third allegation focuses on betrayal and ambition. One ex-husband explains how career priorities sometimes took precedence over personal relationships. He shares instances where confidential plans or intimate discussions were overridden by decisions aimed at preserving the sisters' public reputation. For example, he recalls situations where disagreements over choices in career or family matters left him feeling sidelined and even betrayed. The emotional toll, he says, was immense. Watching someone you care about prioritize appearances or public success over honesty and partnership. These moments, though perhaps understandable in the context of fame, fueled tension and resentment, creating rifts that lasted long after the relationships ended. Collectively, these personal accounts reveal a complex tapestry of human emotion, love, disappointment, ambition, and the struggle to reconcile personal truth with public expectation. They show that fame does not shield anyone from pain. Instead, it can intensify every heartbreak, every betrayal, and every difficult choice. From the outside, the Braxton sisters seem almost untouchable. Fans see the laughter, the shared family moments, and the picture-perfect performances on stage. They appear as a united front, always supportive of one another, sharing joy and milestones that feel genuine and relatable. Social media, interviews, and television appearances paint a picture of harmony, strength, and sisterly love. Yet, according to the ex-husbands, this image only tells half the story. Behind closed doors, the reality was far more complicated. Private conversations and interactions, they claim, often revealed tensions, misunderstandings, and conflicts that never reached the public eye. Moments that looked like playful banter on camera sometimes masked frustration, hurt feelings, or lingering resentment. The contrast between public appearances and private reality is striking. While the audience might celebrate the sisters' closeness, those who were once intimately involved in their lives describe a web of emotional challenges, unspoken arguments, and delicate negotiations to maintain appearances. This duality, glamorous public life versus turbulent private life creates a tension that is difficult to reconcile. The sisters, like many in the spotlight, had to navigate a world where every smile and gesture could be scrutinised while simultaneously managing the complexities of personal relationships that were far less visible. This duality is at the heart of the stories coming from the ex-husbands. The gap between what fans see and what actually happens behind the curtains is both fascinating and unsettling, leaving one to wonder just how much of the celebrity persona is real and how much is carefully crafted for public consumption. While these allegations are shocking, it's important to consider why the ex-husbands might be speaking out now. Some claim they are seeking closure, wanting to finally share their side of the story after years of silence. Others might feel the need to reveal the truth as they see it, believing that fans deserve to know the reality behind the carefully maintained public image. Yet there's also the possibility of bias, resentment from past conflicts, lingering hurt, or frustration that might colour their accounts. Understanding these motives doesn't necessarily invalidate their stories, but it does remind us that every perspective is shaped by personal experience. From another angle, the sisters themselves have lived under immense pressure for decades. Fame, public scrutiny, and the constant demand to maintain a flawless persona can make relationships incredibly complicated. Decisions made in private, misunderstood by outsiders, can easily be interpreted as lies or betrayal. This raises a critical point. The truth may lie somewhere in between, a combination of real emotional struggles, miscommunications, and the human imperfections that exist in every relationship. The audience is left to weigh the credibility of these allegations while understanding that in any story, especially one involving fame and family, there are always multiple sides, each with its own version of the truth. It is this complexity, the mixture of personal motives, emotional pain, and public expectation that makes the revelations so compelling and so difficult to untangle. While the allegations from the ex-husbands are certainly shocking, understanding their motives adds a layer of complexity to the story. Some of these men claim they are finally speaking out after years of keeping silent, driven by a need for closure or to correct what they feel was a misrepresentation of their experiences. Others might be motivated by a desire to be heard, to reveal their side of the story in a world where the sisters' public image has always dominated the narrative. However, human emotions are rarely simple. Past resentment, lingering frustration, or unresolved hurt can easily influence how a person recounts events. It's possible that some of these accounts are shaped not only by the events themselves, but by the feelings that followed those events. Disappointment, betrayal, or even a sense of being sidelined during critical moments of the sisters' lives. At the same time, it's important to remember the immense pressure the sisters themselves faced. Growing up in the public eye, every word, every action, and every decision was scrutinised. Private moments strained by fame and high expectations may have been misinterpreted or exaggerated by those observing from the outside. A disagreement that seemed minor to one person could feel like a significant betrayal to another, especially when filtered through years of emotional baggage. This duality, the ex-husband's perspective shaped by personal pain and the sister's perspective shaped by fame and survival, creates a narrative where the truth is not always clear-cut. Yet the story is far from finished. With every new allegation comes another question. How much of this is the reality of the sisters' lives, and how much is interpretation shaped by past pain and unresolved emotions? The answers remain elusive, leaving fans to wonder what really happens when the cameras stop rolling and the public applause fades. One thing is certain, these revelations have added a new layer to the legacy of the Braxton sisters, challenging the perception of perfection and reminding us that even those who seem untouchable are human, with flaws, mistakes, and secrets. As the truth continues to unfold, one can only ask, will the sisters ever respond? And will the world ever truly know the reality behind the spotlight?